The Confessions of St. Augustine, a 21st century The Latent Heterosexual. On coming out of the closet, or how to make it in the art world. Okay, the art world may sound offensive and homophobic, so let's just say art career, since we don't mean to cast aspersions on any group. We merely point out how handy that form of deception has been since the first person Adam noticed there is a difference. Okay, Paddy Chayefsky covered it from one angle. Our comrades in arms contemplate it from the other. A not too novel idea, though, since how many great works of literature and movies have tried that one in all its various forms: deceptive sexual preference, identification, etc. For whatever reason, they stand to gain. The Country Wife, where all the husbands thought our hero was castrated. Shampoo, where all the husbands thought our hero was gay. Twelfth Night, where our hero thinks our heroine is a man. La Cage aux Folles, where two gays try to pretend to be straight. The Birdcage being the American remake. The variations are endless. Women posing as men posing as women, Yentl, Victor Victoria, Tootsie, The Merchant of Venice, Cymbeline, The Fairy Queen, which doesn't mean what you think it does, Jane Eyre, Huckleberry Finn, yes, even an all-American boy like Huck. The Wind in the Willows even, the list goes on. And even that ultimate posturing male macho man Mussolini tried it to save his neck. And it wasn't that he didn't pass for one, it's just that he was with his mistress, and Italy, as a result of him no less, didn't approve of lesbian relationships. And here's where causality comes in, because if he'd have disguised his mistress as a man, history might have turned out so differently, we might not have had Fellini, Antonioni, Visconti, Leone Bertolucci, Benigni, Rossellini, De Sica, Carlo Ponti, who ultimately gave us Sophia Loren, whom our narrator sees as so embodied in his dream girl that he paints her throughout the novels, who symbolizes and represents much of what the story is all about. Like without his Beatrice, would Dante have written his Divine Comedy? Or if Petrarch didn't have his Laura, would he have written his Canzoniere? Or Catullus had his Claudia? Or O'Neill his father? Roth his mother? Where would literature be today? No, dear reader, if not for that one little slip-up, we might all be hailing Hitler, or Mussolini, or Franco, or Tojo, or even Napoleon the Pig in Animal Farm, if Stalin had his way. Early fall? Yeah. Snow that early? Joel, my neighbor down the hall, another frustrated artist with a little more background and perhaps understanding, but not as much talent, according to him anyway. Shit! And then looking at it more closely as I continued working on my next one. What the hell are we doing here, Gus? Then looking at it even more closely. I mean, really, here we are, two frustrated artists looking for whatever it is we want to paint when some guys discovered the least strokes for the most tokes. I mean, what the hell's left to paint? If I knew, I'd paint it, and I'd be the one with my name up there in lights instead of a Mondrian or Jasper Johns or Ellsworth Kelly. Joel Feinstein, a minimalist's minimalist, the ultimate triumph. Nothing on nothing. Brilliant. Did you see the way he positions that empty space on that empty canvas? I just tried to ignore him. Come on, Gus, let's split. It's all vanity anyway, saith the preacher. Let's go to the Grove and just hang out, as they say. Can't, my son'll be home soon. I've been painting the whole time he'd been here. Boo, you're no fun. Come on, let's go to that fag coffee shop, see who gets the most looks. Loser picks up the tab. And he starts winking at me the way I knew he would if he were there. Somewhere between barely credible and almost outrageous. I still ignored him. He just gets worse if he thinks he's got an audience. Well, I'm gonna go. I love to watch him, especially in those little shops. Damn, how do they do so well, you know? That's what we need, Gus. A fag lover. Promote all our stuff for us. I mean, God, don't you just envy them? No hassles from ex-wives, kids. Shit, if it weren't for the sex, I'd be one too. Got their own little infrastructure. They live in a beautiful world. Let's face it, Gus, they got a good thing going for them. Nice homes, jobs, they got it made. Still ignoring him. I wonder if I could be one. If I didn't have to have sex. And then he practices his walk. Maybe I could be a closet heterosexual. That way I'd get all the benefits. Besides, I really get a kick out of them. They're really pretty funny. Funnier than most straights. Really seem to get such a high out of life. Guess that's why they call him gay, huh? Damn. Some guys have all the luck. How's my walk? Still practicing. Joel's been married 4 times. Gus, you and me, buddy, we set up shop, the two of us. That way they figure we're an item, see? And automatically our work is in demand. How's that? More credibility. Your work will have more sensitivity. Mine will be more esoteric instead of just obscure. You know, like Marsden Hartley, and I'll give it these code titles like German officer, and everybody will be looking for some hidden homosexual meaning about my lover. And hear me out now, Gus, this is pure genius. All the while they're looking for the same message from you. See like how Picasso and Braque fed off of each other? I mean, come on, Gus. Stay with me on this one. It'd be the ultimate camp. 2 straights pretending to be gay. What a switch. I might even get all my marriages annulled because they were all under false pretenses. as he practices his walk again, but this time even more outrageous. Come on, Gus, I'll even let you be the girl, huh? Still practicing his walk, but I didn't answer. All right, then I'll let you be the guy, and then I'll be the girl. Still with the walk. And I'm still ignoring him until all of a sudden in this real high whining voice, damn it then, Augie, you can be the girl then, but just don't complain to your mother just because I said you were a simpering little twit. Enough! Damn, Joel, I gotta get some work done around here. Fine, I'll just get a purple plum myself then. He starts to leave, whimpering and whining, swishing his way by me, his camp now turning to the outrageous, winking and strutting, and then stops at the refrigerator, opens it, and I have to admit he had a point in his wry way. If it weren't for the sex, it's not a bad lifestyle. No ex-wives, child support, responsibilities. I mean, why is it marriage can't be that way instead of the other way around? I thought we were supposed to be helpmates. 2 is better than 1, etc., instead of the other way around. 2 is worse than 1, you know? Have to work harder, when it should be easier, right? You actually eat this shit? Poking around in the refrigerator. How the hell can anybody eat this shit? Rice and what is this stuff? Lentils. Looks like rabbit turds. Damn, Gus, don't you have any food in here? That's why I got it in there. Well, fine. With the high whining voice again, and then the stance. You got kids, don't you? What the hell do they eat? What they eat is in the freezer. And he opens the freezer, starts rooting around, and I guess the purple plum was gonna have to wait. Seriously, though, you ever see how buff some of those fags get? Sure don't eat this shit. I mean, my shit. My shit meaning his shit. The Twinkies he was inhaling and the corn dogs he was now popping in the microwave. Eat that shit you're eating, I suppose. Mouth so full he's spitting out food. I mean, you gotta admit, you look at some of those male models, I mean, the real fag ones like Versace or something, those guys are really built. I mean, you gotta admit, they do look good. I saw this book once, black and white photos where they were all dressed up in this male macho stuff, and they look good. I mean, who the hell would dress like that in real life? Like Buccaneers or Vikings or some Pirates of Sinbad or something? But they look good. But they were just too good looking, you know? The type women drool over, but can't have. Chiseled features from their head to their toes, like you, Gus. Those intense eyes, you know? Like they're trying out for the part of Hamlet or something. And damn, Gus, I just realized the similarity here. Huh, you've been holding out on us. And he walks over, checking me out. Here, old Gus is a Mama Luke in disguise. Winking, then dipping back from the knees, giving me the high sign. Isn't that some cartoon about a Great Dane? What? Hamlet? No, the dog. Hell no, that's Marmaduke. No, we're talking primo macho fag. These guys were all soldiers who fought Napoleon somewhere in Egypt. Looked like something out of a Delacroix painting. Whole army of them. And they were all fags, a whole army of them. Can you imagine? Whole army of them. Then he starts laughing at the image. I can't remember, did they win or not? Who gives a shit? All I know is we'll dress you up as a Mama Luke and go check out the purple plum. As he starts wrapping some towel around my head like it was a turban. Will you stop it? I gotta work. Damn. Go with Damien. Shit, I didn't say I wanted the real thing. I just said I wanted to spoof him a little. Shit, no wonder why you dry up. All work and no play. And no pay. Fuck 'em, so they throw you in jail. As he walked back to the refrigerator and started rooting around again. Yeah, well, how'd you handle it? Simple. I'm just a lousy artist. We all are, Joel. Yeah, but you're a saleable lousy artist. I'm not. Everybody loves your lousy stuff. Yeah, but it doesn't make my stuff any better. Yeah, but I showed him my lousy stuff. Who? The judge. He just took one look and that was it. He was ready to have her pay me. You're kidding. Half believing him. You see, that's your problem, Gus. You're just too accessible. Your work needs to be more obscure. As he reached his way in the back for something. Like who? Playing his game. Oh, hell, I don't know. Who's your favorite obscure artist? As he comes out with a couple of his beers he always stashes in there. Birchfield. I don't know how obscure he is, but he's my favorite. Birchfield? And then starting in on his beer. Yeah. Birchfield? Birchfield? Hell, I would have never picked you for Birchfield. Hopper, maybe. Wyeth, yes, but I never would have figured you for Birchfield. And for once, he was at a loss for words, wondering if I were really serious. Yeah, he reminds me of when I was a kid, Joel, and how I saw the world, when you still see splendor in the grass, except with him, it was even a dandelion or a dragonfly, trees, snowflakes even. The smallest, seemingly most insignificant thing took on a celestial grandeur, as though every part of God's creation was worthy of awe. Not just the Grand Canyons or the Yosemites, but a simple dandelion, Joel, or just some stars in the winter. Damn, because it's how he saw them, Joel, because it's how I felt way back then, too. And God, I wish I felt that way now, but it's almost as though you have to not grow up to stay like that, or remain helpless and vulnerable, exposed and naked. Yeah, not tough and hard like you are right now, huh? But more content with his beer now than the conversation. Yeah, that's it exactly. We get all caught up in this narcissistic self-centeredness that we have to put on, this shell to protect ourselves, and here this guy just paints naked. Naked as the day he was born, huh? So, who's your favorite? Ah, the inevitable so who's my favorite? Who's my favorite? Contemplating his beer, or whether to pick up on this one. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Gus, my boy, but you see, I'm a man of no convictions, beyond some hedonistic need to stay in the comfort zone of life, and who addresses that? Ah! Putting down the first beer, then opening the second. The decadence? Nah. Art for art's sake? Nah. Even that's too dogmatic for me. I think they all had an angle, personally. It's the nature of life, Gus. Survival. You say and do what you really believe. You die. No, you look at the face of God, you die. So you pander. I pander. I don't care about the truth. I care about pleasure and the absence of pain and needless struggle. Finally sitting down and plunking his feet up on my table. 'Cause I really don't give a shit about the truth, Gus, because if God, if there is one, really cares about me knowing that truth, then why the hell did he make it so goddamn difficult, huh? Why'd he put so many goddamn obstacles in the way in the first place, huh? I mean, come on, Gus, you're asked to believe God is a loving God when he destroys all of life eventually, taunting us with the desire, only to take away the means. And we gotta prove to him we're okay? What about him proving to us he's okay, huh? What about him proving to us why all, and I mean all, of life has to suffer and die, and sometimes in the most hideous of ways? And I could go on and on here, Gus, but if you ask me, you're a fool for even considering this Mother Teresa shit. If I were you, I'd go to those islands you've always dreamed about and paint whatever the hell it is that makes you happy and forget about truth and meaning as long as it sells enough to keep you happy. Because thank your lucky stars, Gus, my boy, that you, unlike me and the rest of us poor slobs out there, you can make more money in one day from your art than we can in a whole year. And yet still you ask God why the hell you can't go to be a goddamn missionary to a bunch of fucking morons out in the middle of the goddamn desert. Ha! Now that's truth, Bubba, because let me ask you one thing. What? How are you going to glorify God out there in the desert? Motive, for one thing. When they wouldn't know the difference between a Mother Teresa or an Attila the Hun? An Attila the Hun wouldn't do it. Nor would most people. Precisely. That's my point, Joel. Thinking for a moment just what that point was. Well, just don't chuck out the baby with the bathwater. My God-given talent. Yeah. And the bathwater? All the unnecessary compromises. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it, Joel? Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? What's compromise and what's artistic merit? Because if it has merit, it has truth. If it has truth, it serves God. But does it have merit? Yeah, because a billion years from now, what will its purpose have been? What will its purpose have been? Shit, in a billion years from now, what purpose will there have been in wiping the asses of a bunch of fucking morons out in the goddamn desert either? To be continued. The Confessions of St. Augustine. Now available on Amazon.com.